Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of In the Pit with Lobo Tigre. Our victim of the day is Claudia Tornquist. She's the CEO of Kodiak Copper. Now, Kodiak Copper, why are we talking about copper when it's gold that's making all-time records? Well, Claudia, why don't you give us an overview of what you're working on and why it matters to us today?
I'm very happy to. Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Kodiak, in a nutshell, is a copper-gold porphyry exploration company founded and chaired by Chris Taylor of Great Bear fame. And we have a project in southern BC called MPD, where we were recently able to announce a discovery.
Wow, that was admirably succinct. Okay, let's go right to the Chris Taylor angle because obviously, this is something that gets a lot of investor attention. Great Bear has been this huge success, made a lot of money for a lot of people. So this is the next Chris Taylor play. But a lot of people would have expected the next Chris Taylor play to be a gold junior, right? The next big gold discovery. So why copper gold porphyries? Why go in this direction?
That's a good question. Many people think of Chris as a gold guy because, of course, as you said, Great Bear is a big gold discovery. But Chris's core expertise as a geologist is actually copper porphyries. He started out his geologist career at Imperial Metals, drilling for copper porphyries all over North America, which is exactly what we are doing. So it's really very fortunate for us to have his technical expertise to tap into. And Chris loves porphyries, as do I, because they have real size potential. And if we're good, if we're fortunate, then we'll be able to really create value because we could have an elephant project.
Okay, fair enough. One more Chris question then. I'm glad that you're CEO and not him, just because I want him to keep doing what he's doing over there at Great Bear. But how much of Chris do you guys get? How much time and attention does he have to spare for you?
Well, he very much guides our technical work. He works very closely with Jeff Ward, our VP Exploration, and Andy Barry, our VP Operations. And he's involved on a very regular basis. Actually, this week, the next couple of days, we will all spend together on site to plan together the next phases of our work and how and where and what we drill going forward.
Okay. And what is your particular background? Why did you end up in the CEO seat here?
My background, I've been in commodities for 20 years now, much of it with Rio Tinto, where I worked also on some very large copper projects. I was involved with Oyu Tolgoi, for example, in Mongolia, also did some work on the Escondida porphyry project in Chile, the world's largest copper mine. So I have a mixed commodities background, I would say, with quite a bit of copper. And how did I get involved with Kodiak? That's actually an interesting story. Chris founded Kodiak in 2015. And I was initially an investor in the seed round. I looked at the opportunity, liked what Chris was doing, liked Chris, and invested. And then helped him a little bit as a consultant in the beginning when it was a very small company, and then later went on the board, and then later took on the executive role 2 years ago as president and now CEO.
Okay, well that's great to hear. I did see the Rio Tinto bits in your little bio blurb on the website, but it's good to get a little more color on that. Okay, so these are not new discoveries. Both the MPD project and the other one in Arizona or wherever it is in the U.S., not remembering off the top of my head, they're existing deposits that you found, and then you're bringing a new interpretation, and you're hoping to make a new discovery on an old known deposit. And so far, this has worked out great. It seems at MPD you had a fantastic drill hole on September 3rd. The third hole on the third, you announced, I just realized, hole 3. And the stock went nuts. That's great. Congratulations. But it's one drill hole. And the one right next to it is much lower grade. Hole 2 is like, I'm seeing 0.1, 0.13 copper. So how important is this hole? What does it really tell us that's new? And what do you do next to bring more tonnage to play here?
Maybe first to the first point you you talked about of old, formerly drilled projects. That's very much our strategy. That's what Great Bear did successfully. Took a project that people had explored in the past, but couldn't crack the nut. And Chris took a new view on it and made it a success. And MPD is very much a similar story. Has been drilled for 50 years, sporadically, on and off, all very shallow. And we looked at it and thought, you have to drill deeper here. Nobody drilled deep enough. There's an opportunity there. So that's what we did. And we were successful right off the bat. So now we have a couple of good holes. We started drilling last year, just around this time, drilled a very small maiden drill program, 1,500 meters, drilled this summer, 4,500 meters, still a small program. And we're fortunate to drill some really good grades, much better grades than we ever drilled before on the project, right early on in the exploration progress. And if you know exploration, it's very often the case in the beginning. You don't know anything, you have very little information. So you drill in some places and then slowly but surely figure out what you're looking at and then get to the high grades. And on the way, you have sometimes less good holes, sometimes better holes. And I think we've been very fortunate to hit some really good grades, like 45 meters of 2.75% copper very early on. But that's only the start. There's still a lot of drilling to be done. It's a very large system, 10 square kilometers of historic drilling, all near surface, all interesting, much of it interesting. And we've now poked deeper holes in one small corner. So this really is the start of a lot more work and obviously a lot more potential to be unlocked.
Okay, so what's the geological theory here then? It's just, I mean, going deeper and finding better grades is good, but is it your notion that the whole thing is better at depth, or is this like a feeder zone that trumpets out to the top, or tell us more about the target and really help me have confidence that it's not just this one great hole and then the rest are going to be like the previous drilling.
Yep. Well, we know it's a large system. There has been historic drilling across a 10 square kilometer area, so very large, 3 individual project sites. And we've only drilled one small area for now. Our interpretation from all the data we have so far is that we're probably looking at multiple porphyry centers. It looks we're homing in on one of them. There might be others. It looks the formerly drilled, the other areas that have been formerly drilled could also be porphyry centers. There might be more, but we don't know yet. It looks like an upright system. It looks like there are multiple porphyry centers, and it looks big. That's what we know for now. And so, yeah, we have to unlock the potential, drill some more holes, and really, show what there is.
All right, so there's multiple porphyries around in different pulses, I suppose, and this is one particular one that looks higher grade, and I'm inviting you to make a forward-looking statement here. It's I'm just looking at slide 13 on your presentation, and I'm looking at hole 2 and hole 3. And my mind, just wants to know, okay, what's the next one here, right? Right? Is that what's going to be drilled next? And if so, is that what you're looking for? Or do you need to just continue going deeper? Or where do we go to add more tons here?
Well, from what we know so far, from the drilling at the gate zone, it looks that with the initial holes, we were still a little bit more in the periphery of the porphyry system. And then the second setup, our hole number 4 and 5, and on from there, hit closer to the center or a center of the porphyry system. The thing that indicates that we're getting closer to a porphyry center is the ratio of copper in percent to gold in grades, which is approximately 1:1. So in the best intersect, we had 1.4% copper and 1.4 grams gold. That's typically an indication that you're near or nearer the porphyry center. And so, we think we're on to a porphyry center there. We have to drill more to see how big it is, how it's oriented. It looks it's an upright system. It's not tilted to the side, which is also means it could come even closer to surface. And yeah, to figure out what we have, how big it is, and where it is exactly, we just need to drill more.
Okay. And are drills turning now again? Now, you raised $13 million, so I know you're not short on
Yeah.
cash. Have you started up again? And are there results pending, or have you just started drilling? Where are we at, and what are the deliverables over the next quarter or two?
There are results pending. So far, we have completed 6 holes. That was our original summer program. And the results we have released are the first 2 of those. So still actually 1.5 holes, because it was only the best section of 1 hole that we rushed through the lab. So we still have 4.5 holes to come from the original summer program. And we had planned to drill until mid of September. And then when we saw the core, when we saw what we got, we of course didn't stop. We continued drilling, and we are now on hole 7, and 8 will come after that, and are planning to drill until later this year and then continue into 2021. And it's actually at the moment very much sort of work in progress. And that's also part of why we're going on site now, to really sit down and plan the next phases of work and how to scale up this program.
I was wondering about that. There you are in southern BC. You're not far off the road. So if you wanted to, could you drill year round?
Yes, you can. You can very much. There is some snow, not very much. And as you said, we're right off the highway. And there are projects in the vicinity. For example, West Haven, their Shovel Nose project. They are just down the road, drilling with 3 drills around the year. And yeah, that's one of the big benefits of being in southern BC and in a very accessible location.
You know, if this does prove up to be a great, big, high-grade copper gold discovery there's got to be people pulling their hair out, because so many people have driven by this thing on their way to look for something else. So many people have drilled this, 50 years of exploration on this project. For you guys to come along, look at it differently, and find something everybody else missed, there have to be a bunch of people that would kick themselves. But okay, so we have holes pending from the first program. You raised money, you have money for another program. But I looked at your press releases. I didn't see any photographs of more exciting looking drill holes. So without getting you in trouble, without asking you to say something that you're not supposed to say, have you made photos that I didn't see yet? Or are there any photos of holes still to be assayed that show the same kind of massive sulfides in there and other interesting things? Or what can you tell us about the pending holes without getting in trouble?
Yeah, good question. There was actually one picture of hole number 5 in our results press release. Hole number 5 was the hole we drilled after hole number 4 from the same setup. And we don't have the results yet, but we put a picture of the core into the press release because it looks equally as nice as the core of hole number 4, which was the really good hole. Looked. And so, yeah, from just what we can see visually, and with copper and porphyries, you have some sense visually of what you get. We are very optimistic that we'll have some more good results to come. It's actually a funny story there. When we got that core from the drillers overnight, the box, when it came in the morning, had a big smiley drawn on it with the Sharpie, because they looked at the core and they knew that we were onto something good there.
Yeah, that is one of the joys of not being a gold explorer. When you hit chalcopyrite or whatever pay dirt happens to be in your case, you can see it. And okay, you don't know exactly what the grade is, but you can eyeball the percentage, or if it's high grade enough, you can shoot it with a Niton gun or something and get a really good sense of what you're going to get. So that is one of the neat things about it. Okay, so we have a pretty good indication of news on the way, and you have money to go ahead and drill more. That's all very good. What about the other project? It's great to have this going on, but I also noticed in the presentation that you plan to go ahead and drill the other one. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing there and what you expect to get or hope to get?
Yeah, that's our project in Arizona called Mojave, which is also a very interesting project. And as you said, we had originally planned to do an exploration program and start drilling there too this year. But for now, with MPD and the results we were getting there, we have prioritized MPD and we have our hands full, or more than full actually, with just scaling up that project and drilling at MPD. So Mojave at the moment is second priority. But having said that, we like the project. We want to work it eventually, and I hope we'll get to drill it in the not too distant future. It is a very similar situation to MPD. Great location in a producing copper trend right next to a large copper mine, right off the highway. It's been drilled historically, some interesting smoke, but not figured out yet. So yeah, a lot of discovery potential there as well.
All right. Well, okay. So that's interesting. I guess then it's really for the near term anyway. The next quarter or two, we're looking really pretty much at MPD. I'm not seeing a drill plan map on your presentation. I see. Oh no, there it is. Hole 1 and 4 and 5, and those are looks like 100 meters apart. So when we get the results from the program that was already completed, those are pretty long holes. So, I mean, you'll have 2 section lines, and that's part of a larger soil anomaly or geophysics or something. What? I guess again, I don't want to get you in trouble here, forward-looking statements, but what will we learn from that? It's 2 sections pretty close together. You know, if they turn out great, you know, where do we go from there? It tells us which direction to go drill more, or just deeper, or what happens next?
The map you're looking at there at the moment, this plan map which shows our drill holes, it also shows a large copper in soil anomaly, sort of a pink area, 1,000 kilometers, sorry, 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer long, 300 meters across approximately. And that copper in soil anomaly, that defines our target area. And so from where we are now, we will be stepping out further to the south and essentially follow the soil anomaly and drill further.
Okay.
That's sort of the plan for MPD.
Well, that's the gate zone. Are you going to test any of the other zones?
That's a good question. We had one other target that we actually wanted to drill this summer. When we started in July our drill program, our original plan was to start at the gate zone and then do one hole at the end of the project at a similar anomaly at Dillard, which is 2.5 kilometers away. And then, as you know, exploration, it always comes different than you think it does. When we saw what we drilled at Gate, we, of course, didn't move the drill rig. We kept drilling there. So we still have this interesting anomaly, which looks very similar to the Gate zone anomaly at Dillard, which we have on the list for drilling. And we'll see when we get around to it, but that's definitely also one that's very high on the list. And there are other anomalies also.
Right.
Again, it's a very large 10 square kilometer area.
Okay, and would the concept be the same? You know, I can see there's past drilling on all of the, well, I don't know about all of them, but the ones you have on the map, Dillard, Prime, is the idea to do the same thing, go deeper and see if they...
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Go below the shallow historic drilling.
And since you have raised money, I you know, if you have success and you keep hitting a gate, you know, why stop? But if you have the money and you have a drill available, would you go ahead and start poking holes at some of these others, or would you, you know, sort of wait till you? Okay, all right, very good. And results pending. How long? Can you say how long have they been in the lab, and do you have an expected time of arrival for possible the next news?
Well, we have some results which we should be able to release and should get and be able to release relatively soon. Probably around sort of late October would be my best guess. You never know exactly, because you never know exactly how long the lab will take. But sometime in the next couple of weeks, there will be the next batch of results. And then at least 1 or 2 afterwards then with more results from the holes that have already been drilled and that we are currently drilling. So a fair amount of more news this
Yeah.
year and in
All right.
2021.
Clear and imminent. Very good. All right. Let's take a step back actually to the beginning of the interview, if you don't mind. This is all great. It's all very exciting. But there's also this whole COVID-19 situation, the global economy in a tailspin. If things don't get better, there's a potential here for copper prices to go down. There's copper and gold in your story. Is there any potential here for there to be more of a gold side, or if I'm concerned about copper prices, why would I want to buy your stock now?
Well, copper, gold, porphyry always has both, obviously, and well, copper, gold, and silver we have as well. So it's always a mix. And from what we can tell, we have some very nice gold-rich intercepts there. It looks like it might be a gold-rich system that we have, but it is at the end of the day a copper play mainly. And yeah, so it's really about your view on the copper market. And most analysts are very bullish on copper in the long term. We certainly are. So of all the green revolution will require a lot of copper. And when I was at Rio Tinto, looked at many sort of demand supply analyses in a variety of different commodities. And I haven't seen anything as stark as in copper at the moment, where you can just see such a big demand coming in a long time. I really think it's exceptional fundamentals, and I'm very bullish for the copper price going forward.
So your answer is don't be a short-term thinker?
Well, in the short term, what will have a impact for sure also on the copper demand are all these infrastructure programs. There are trillions of dollars of infrastructure programs from a variety of governments around the world. And where does this go? A lot of it will require a lot of copper, goes into 5G networks, goes into all sorts of infrastructure building that requires, again, copper. And if Joe Biden will come to power and his whole green energy program, there you have another very big sort of copper demand factor right away.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned, though, around the world too, because I think a lot of people do get kind of hung up on the U.S. election and the prospects there, and America's not the entire world, and so it's important to understand that there are infrastructure programs going on elsewhere. But that is an interesting point. Okay, so I get it, and we have drill results pending for the near term. Could be very exciting. I get it. You're cashed up, so I don't need to ask you how you're going to pay for that. The one question I have left that I ask everybody is the skin in the game question. If you want me or us, our audience, to put our money into your company, can you tell us how much of your own money you have put into your stock?
Yeah, I can. Well, if you look at my CEDA filings, you'll see I own personally just around 800,000 shares. My family has another sort of similar amount, and I have bought in the market in the last year around, I think, 15 times. Because our share price now, it's obviously, we've been rewarded by the market for the results, and it's done a big jump up. But before, our share price was very low, and I was always very confident in our project and in the potential, and so bought a lot in the market to show this confidence.
Well, I'm glad that's already worked out for you, and congratulations on that call and for putting your money where your mouth is. I respect that a great deal. Any last point you want to leave our audience with?
Well, the most important point about Kodiak is it's only the start. I've had people ask me, have I missed the train? And it's a very emphatic no. We are 6 holes into a very large system. There's a lot more to come, a lot more work, and a lot more potential.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Good luck with that, and please keep us posted.
Will do. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching this edition of In the Pit with Lobo Tigre. If you enjoyed or found value in what you just saw, and you're watching this on any sort of social media, please do hit the like button and the share link. Send this on to anybody you think might be interested. That helps us out a lot. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button as well. The number of subscribers helps us get more valuable content to you as well. On the subject of subscribing, I'll quickly say that if you're not a subscriber to our free weekly Speculators Digest, I encourage you to sign up. I promise if you do, we will not send you a flood of daily advertisements. You get one free weekly digest with original research not published anywhere else. Check it out at independentspeculator.com. Thank you and have a great day.